Do we look at you or the camera?
I would look at the camera. If it helps, do you want me to do this?
I don't care. Just curious.
I don't think...
It might sound better coming from the side. You can either or. But I would say look at the camera if you can.
Okay.
Okay. So why the perfect partner and how did it come about?
Why the perfect partner and how did it come about?
You.
We were looking for ways for our students to be able to practice outside of their lessons. Ballroom is an expensive hobby. We all know that. Because of how expensive it is, it limits the people who are really able to fully commit to it. Most people don't feel that they have the financial situation going on within their lives that they can justify spending, $80 to $200 on a private lesson once a week, and really once a week isn't enough. So then your instructor's immediately encouraging you to do 2 times a week, and then as soon as you do that, that's really not enough because that's really only an hour and a half. So they're immediately encouraging you to do 3 times, 4 times, and which makes sense because in order to really practice a craft and get good at it, you have to commit a lot of time, and just doing 45 minutes once a week, it would take you forever to get good at whatever it was you were working on. So because lots of people will still take dance lessons at 1 lesson a week, that's something they can afford, and the majority of my students would take 1 to 2 lessons a week. We needed them to be able to practice more than that, and we understood that they can't, put their kids' college money for towards their own dancing. When we were competing as professionals, it was difficult for us to justify all the money that we were spending on coaching. I mean, we would spend more than 1 lesson a week, but it is our career, so it's a bit different, and a lot more than 1 lesson a week. But that was what was necessary to get good. That's why we did it. It was something we had to do to get to where we wanted to be. So when it's your career, you're willing to make sacrifices financially and investments like that because you are hoping that it will build into the next thing you're doing in your career. And you'll get that back. But for someone who's just looking to take it up as a hobby,
it's a lot.
It's a lot to ask for someone to invest, and we get that. So we are trying to find ways to make, and the perfect partner is the beginning of continuous. We will all continuous attempt to find and make to make dance training and learning to dance easier, more effective, more efficient,
more accessible.
More accessible. Yeah.
Right.
That was.
But,
and how that was why.
Right.
That was why.
The how though. The how. So Jonathan was looking for ways to create resistance for his students, and he just started buying up lots and lots and lots of bungee cord. A lot of bungee cord.
Yeah.
Our
different sizes,
apartment was
different
covered
shapes.
in it. Yeah, different strengths, different everything, and just playing around with them. He was experimenting with different movements and whatnot. And one day he ended up with it just kind of wrapped around him.
We were actually in a meeting working on one of the other
a different projects
that we were working on. And it was actually a form of a frame corrector or
device.
Let's say upper body, not just frame, but upper body focus device. And I'm just twirling those things around during the meeting, and somehow I end up hooked with, like normal bungee cords, they have those big hooks at the end of them, so like you use in the garage. So I had them hooked here, and somehow was flipping around, got them hooked, and was carrying the other 2 big hooks over, and I was like, this is nice. But then I would dance and it would move all around.
Right. So I told him I'd make him a vest, and we'd put some belt loops on it so it'd stay where he wanted it to.
Which took some playing with.
Took a
we
little,
had to try it here, try it there, try it back here, compare the 2. It was Also, when we would put it, we had some friends that we would try it out with us as well, and their
feedback.
Yeah, it was really helpful. It was not just
Definitely
not just ourselves working on it, and eventually we got to the point where we had a good enough prototype that we had made a few of it, and we took it around to a few different friends' studios where they taught, and got their feedback, and we added some things and built it from there. But originally, it was pretty much accidental. We were
like most things.
Convinced on the idea that we needed to create something for students of dance to be able to train easier, better, stronger, all of it, hit more people, so more accessible to everybody. 220 or 205 may seem like a lot of money on a tool to help with the hobby you're doing, but if you think about the hobby where you spend almost that same amount on a private lesson in a week, this actually, it's well worth it. It goes a long way. Imagine if you could spend what you spend on one lesson on something that would not just help you out that day, but continuously give you progress each time you chose to put it on, which didn't cost money putting it on. But so that was how it came about. Is there any other?
That was a long explanation. Go us.
You're welcome.
So there's been a lot of talk about resistance. What is it about resistance that's so important?
That's actually so this is a good question, because like people don't realize why resistance is so important. I mean, resistance is how we control everything. That's how you walk on the ground. Like gravity creates the resistance that allows you to be weighted on the ground, which is how you feel the fact that you're even able to walk. So I get that that's kind of, we haven't felt not that. So it's hard to give a comparison, which makes it hard to understand what resistance is. But essentially you need, keeping it simple, two pieces working away from each other create a center. So those two creating that pull, that resistance that one piece feels from another piece, is what creates them working together. So when we're looking for whole body movements in dancing, not just like isolated, like ready, cheerleader, cut off those types of, not that there's anything against cheerleading, it's just not what we're creating continuous movement. So no stopping. The whole body working together as one becomes very important when we do that. And resistance is how you connect your body to itself. Imagine you're in water, you're in the pool, and you just close your eyes and imagine you're in the water. And you can feel when you move your arm through the water that there's that resistance to it. It almost allows you to feel where you're at in space and almost see yourself even with your eyes closed. And then imagine you could feel all your routines like that. Every position. You would have that reassurance that you are moving in the right direction through that resistance, that you are just moving, not standing still, which is really a big thing. As much as I would love to talk about how to make your movement look, usually I spend most of my time just talking about how to create movement, because we stop so much. But that's it's almost difficult to sell the product sometime, because we'll say, it provides resistance to your movement, and then to explain to them why that's important ends up being this long thing that probably even some people now won't understand what I was saying after I said all that. But it's important. That's why resistance matters so much. It gives you control. It's what makes you control your body. Without resistance, we would just be floating, not being able to create these actions and these speeds.
I've also heard a lot of people say that being in the vest is quite the workout. Was it designed to be an exercise as well?
It was not originally. It's just kind of a happy coincidence. Again, anytime you have resistance, it's gonna make you work a little bit harder. And we found it, if we wear it for a 45-minute lesson, or don't mind us. Or if we, our students wear it for a 45-minute lesson, you definitely feel the effects of it, like you've gotten a workout. And we've even had a few students purchase it almost for that reason, to help them build up more strength for their dancing, and really just for their bodies, for their life in general, to make it
Yeah, people have loved it for that.
function more.
Some people, specifically, we've had a couple of customers that have back issues or scoliosis, and they have this curved spine, and they're always trying to prevent that. There's nothing they can do but fight against it, really. And some of them have reached out to us afterward, just talking about how helpful it's been, just having it on in general, not just in dancing, but during their daily life, their activities, being able to feel that awareness of where they're holding their posture, in a sense, because the vest gives you kind of a squeeze, which lets you become more aware of just your spine in general as well, outside of the resistance bands. And then also, like, using the pants. One of the ladies was just like, she uses it to stretch.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's
Right.
which is great. We have a conditioning class that we have at our studio that one of our teachers does, and when you wear it during that, it feels good. And it increases your, not just your workout, but your stretch too. You gain that awareness, which allows you to create more stretch. Stretching can be confusing for people. It was cool that it was a workout. Also, the first week that we really had it at the studio, and we weren't messing with it, changing it, and I got to just like wear it for all of my lessons. I did wear it for my whole week of lessons, which was probably around 30 lessons. And at the end of the week, that was when I realized how much of a workout it actually is, which was great because it targets those muscles we use for dance. Usually when people want to hit the gym before their dance practice, generally speaking, when we hit the gym, we target the major muscle groups. It's difficult for us to, not that everyone does this, there are lots of, especially nowadays, you see lots of new ways to work out. Very free weight related or resistance band related, or no weights even, just using your own body weight. Lots of people are figuring out ways which is good. Those workouts target less just major muscle groups, and they give you a more whole body workout, which is what dance is. We target all the little muscle groups in the body. Yes, sure, we're working on the big ones, but not more so than the others. So it targets specifically the muscles that we use and need to strengthen for dancing, which was great. At the end of that first week, I remember sitting on my couch and reaching for my water and being like, oh, I was very aware of the workout. And for someone who has danced for as long as I have and continues to dance as much as I do, that's a great sign. So it was very exciting, but not planned. We were, that was just lucky for all of us. Yeah. Most of my students now just wear it whenever, when they're practicing, when they're on their lesson, whatever it is. And we'll change the setup that we're using based off what we're trying to focus on sometimes, but generally speaking, just having it on you at all times, creating that resistance, will force you to deal and confront the problems that we usually just bypass.
Well, thank you guys for sitting down with me and answering a few questions. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Our pleasure. Thanks for asking.